Welcome to The Warehouse. Have you ever heard a sermon and thought, how in the world did he discover that? Or where did he get that idea? Every week at Cornerstone Church, two teams dig into the biblical text that'll be taught during our weekend services. We spend hours talking about the text, the context, the culture of the time, you name it. But you can't stuff all that into a 30-minute message. That's where we come in. We're going to show you the stuff in the warehouse that didn't make it to the stage. Hey, hi, hello. Hey, Nathan.
Yeah.
If you're going to Subway, what are you going to order?
I like some classic like cold cut combo. I really like this. This may sound terrible. I know for some of you guys this will sound terrible. I really like their sweet onion sauce.
teriyaki.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I don't think it's teriyaki, not sweet onion teriyaki. They've got like the sauce that they put on it.
Yeah,
I don't think it says
That's not
teriyaki.
sweet onion teriyaki?
I think it is
No.
sweet onion teriyaki.
I don't think so. It's
I'm
not like
Googling it.
it's not like a brown like a teriyaki would be. It's just like a sweet onion sauce. I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, so just a classic like that is where it's at for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the first disagreements I ever had with Tia
Ooh.
was over this very question, because our first date. So after I would have to back up and tell you some interesting story to explain why. It was right after our parents had decided we were courting.
Did you have a candle that they set the wick on? That's some old school courting.
No, didn't do that. Anyway, so our first date was to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra in St. Louis
Wow.
with the Shawnee Community College
Oh, sure.
music
Had a trip.
club or something. Yeah, had a trip. And we went there, and so we went to Subway beforehand, and we decided to be all cutesy and like get a foot long and split it.
Aw.
And so we go there, and she orders a meatball marinara.
Not
I'm like-
a cold cut trio.
I'm like, this place's tagline is literally eat fresh. Like, this is the place where you can do all kinds of creative things to your sandwich and stuff, but you get something that has tomato sauce and meatballs on it. And so I did it, but to this day, like, I harass her every time we go to Subway.
Does she still order that?
Not very often. I think
Okay.
she's seen the light.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
But she still loves meatball marinara.
So sweet onion. There's sweet onion sauce,
Yes.
but then whenever you sweet onion teriyaki chicken. So I'm wondering if the chicken is what has the teriyaki on it.
Yes.
Interesting.
And then-
I told you guys.
You
sweet
did.
onion is the sauce. I will get a cold cut combo with sweet onion sauce.
You nailed it.
Okay.
You nailed it.
I mean,
That's new. In my day,
Right.
it was
No.
sweet onion teriyaki.
no, let's just ignore him.
I've done
and
this.
we are right,
Yeah.
Jay.
for like
What's your-
12 years.
What's your favorite sandwich? It's
I'm normally enjoying a flatbread with the chicken bacon ranch.
bold.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah, that one's one of my favorites.
Bold.
Bold?
Not bad.
Really? You would say
Not
that's
bad.
bold?
The
I like-
flatbread. Go
I
with
like banana
flatbread.
peppers too.
Yeah. Okay. Are we talking about all that we put on our sandwich?
I
Because
put a lot of things on my
I
sandwich.
put like everything on there besides like jalapeno.
Mm,
I don't put olives.
picture it.
What?
No.
DuCoin,
Oh gosh.
I'm picturing it.
2002.
I'm there, man.
Jay and Rachel are not married.
Oh, I can't picture that.
It's a difficult thing to
That's really
remember.
weird.
Jay has gone and done his grocery shopping at the Super Walmart in DuCoin.
Okay.
He's getting ready to return to Elkville
Mm-hmm.
to take his groceries into the Methodist parsonage at the that's there. He's gotten his case of Mountain Lightning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Dr.
I think
Thunder.
I might prefer over Mountain Dew.
Same.
Yeah.
And so on the way home, he stops by Subway. Again, he's a single man. He goes into the Subway. This is at the height of his prowess as an eater. He has gone into the Subway and he's ordered 2 footlongs, a roasted chicken, and a pizza sub.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them with pickles and mayo.
Interesting. The pizza sub?
The pizza sub, the one dressing the pizza sub, says, "Whoa, you said what on here?" And I say, pickles and mayo. And she looks at me almost cross-eyed, and I just say to her, "My wife's pregnant."
Wow.
So you lied.
Oh, big time. But to this day, I have shed the shame. And to this day, unless something else strikes my fancy, my go-to at Subway is a pizza sub,
No.
sometimes with bacon, with
No.
pickles and mayo.
That's weird.
Oh, yeah, it is.
You're just like owning it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would
I'm
try
so
it.
confused on the pizza sub. Isn't that just like what is this?
Yeah. Pepperoni, cheese, the sauce from
Yeah,
Tia's
meatball
sandwich. It's just delicious. Sometimes I go devil meat. Sometimes I go bacon.
Okay, what are you
But
putting?
always
what bread?
mayo and pickles.
Always.
What bread? What bread?
Like the Parmesan oregano.
Ooh.
Okay. So I really enjoy the Reuben pizza. So I feel like that's
Reuben
not.
sandwich?
No. The Reuben pizza, like from Waltz.
Oh.
They only offer it 2 times a year.
This is a Subway.
I know.
Central.
I'm just saying.
She's just crossing the line the other way. You brought pizza into sandwiches, and she's taking sandwiches to pizza.
No. But they
That's
put
what you're
pickles.
doing.
They put
A
pickles.
Reuben is a sandwich.
Pizza can go
You're
anywhere
taking
it
it
wants.
on to pizza.
Pizza can go anywhere it wants.
Anyways, the Reuben is really good. They put pickles and like a different type of sauce on it.
Like a Thousand Island kind of thing?
Yeah.
Parker has his head buried in his hand. I think he's ready for us to move on.
He's over there saying, bloody Americans.
Hold on, Parker.
In
If you're
Australia,
at
they'd never
Subway-
do such a
No.
thing.
Come on. What sandwich are you getting,
He's not
Parker?
even-
You
not
grew up
telling us
here.
no.
You spent 3 years in Australia, and now you're too good for sandwiches.
You don't eat Subway? Like not even like a chicken bacon ranch? A pizza?
Not going great for their sponsorship of this episode, man.
Yeah.
No.
Well, speaking of Thousand Island,
Yep.
Okay.
Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14, and 24 through 29.
Mm-hmm.
And I meant to ask, I forgot, did we take out 13 and 14, or did we talk about it in here
I
last week?
thought we talked about it, but I could totally be wrong.
I don't
so
think
can
we talked about it in here.
We didn't.
So-
Oh no, we didn't because we did. We didn't. We
I did
didn't.
not. Okay. Something we should have talked about. Sorry, listener, that some behind the scenes discussions.
That's part of
from
the warehouse.
talent.
Yeah, that's
Part of the warehouse.
Whoa.
yeah.
Warehouse
the way
combos.
back. So 13 and 14. We studied it last week in exegesis, but someone made the command decision to take that out and put it right here this week. Matthew 7, 13 and 14, 24 through 29. Hey, what big idea did you have, Stephanie?
Be doers of the word and not hearers only. But I also have Parker's too, because I thought he did a good job. It's easy to be swept to destruction and hard to stand in obedience.
Very vivid.
Very vivid. You said, what was yours again, though?
You moved right on.
Be doers of the word and not hearers only.
That's
from
good.
James.
There we go. See,
It's
she
from
didn't
James.
cite it again. She almost did some, not perjury,
Plagiarism.
plagiarism on the pod.
Mm.
Nathan, what was your big
Ooh.
idea?
Pod.
That had a ring to it. I'm looking at the wrong week. I apologize.
Mine was storms are coming. Jesus is the only foundation that can withstand them.
Mm-hmm.
Not a haiku this week.
Storms are coming.
No.
No, okay. What's yours, Nathan? While he's trying to
He's
figure that
counting
out.
syllables.
Ooh.
Were you one off?
One off.
What if we just find that you always do your big
Talking
ideas
haiku?
as haiku?
Storms are coming. Jesus is the only foundation that withstands them.
Haiku.
Ha.
Mine was true life is found in hearing and obeying Jesus.
Oh, that's good.
Straightforward.
It's not bad.
To the point.
Not bad. What kind of context should we bring this week? This, the 12th and
Final?
is this 11th? No, this is 12th.
It's the final
Right?
week.
Morgan's bringing
It's
us
the
home.
last week.
It's the
12th and final week.
countdown.
Of the best sermon
Yeah.
ever. And we're going to hear the best sermon ever this weekend from Morgan.
Wow.
Perfect timing.
Woo!
Perfect timing.
Whoa. It's
the
a
thing.
lot of pressure.
Yeah. So when he
No
comes,
pressure, Morgan.
when the lights come on this weekend, just start like a chant, right?
Morgan.
Yeah, yeah.
Morgan. We didn't
Yeah.
even time like we
Yeah.
we just did that.
Right here.
Eek.
Yep.
I don't like being on the other end of that. Yeah, okay. That's
No,
better.
that's- no.
That's better.
We're
I
fist
like it.
bumping right now.
Yeah.
You couldn't hear it.
So context, what do we need to bring it home with?
I thought like the biggest things for me are just have to do with the fact that this is the closing of the Sermon on the Mount. And so just kind of being reminded of the big arc of this sermon. Jesus has been describing like what kingdom living is like. And he's been teaching in such a way that like really amps up their understanding of like what it looks like to please God in such a way that leaves them a little dumbfounded. And we'll talk about that here in a minute, but just kind of framing it up where this has all been about what it looks like to be kingdom citizens. None of this has been about how do you get into, like, how do I become? I mean, I guess there's a little bit as we talk about entering by the narrow way and stuff. But a lot of it's been descriptive of like how kingdom citizens should live. So, and then the other big thing I would add in there is that Matthew's goal in his gospel, the thing that he's trying to really highlight about Jesus is that he is the promised Messiah, that he is an authoritative teacher like Moses, which if you look back, I think it was Deuteronomy 18. I'd have to check that real quick, but there was a promise spoken through Moses that there would be another authoritative teacher who would bring God's word to bear on his people and stuff. It's a neat promise to look back on to see that Jesus is fulfilling here. So as he's up on this mountain giving his commands and stuff, we see that he's a teacher like Moses, and then also that he's the king from the line of David. So
Awesome.
that'd be my context stuff.
That's good. Well, let's bring it home. Let's hit those first two verses first, shall we? 13 and 14. Enter by the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction, and those who enter by it are many. For the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few.
Mm-hmm.
What you got? I did notice, so I was just wondering, wide gates, narrow, the Golden Gate in Jerusalem on the east side of town was about 12 and a half feet wide. So just kind of an idea of that gate, the road leading into town, about 12 and a half feet wide.
One of the ways that we measure things around my house is like asking ourselves how many dustins long it is. So that would be about 2 dustins.
Yeah, about almost 2 dustins. Well, so it's 12.8 feet. So however long
Dustin is 6'4"?
However long 8/10 of a foot is.
It's very close.
It's super close to
very
exactly
close.
2 dustins.
So if you imagine 2 dustins
laying
Yep.
on the road in Jerusalem on the east side of town.
Yeah.
That's how wide the Golden Gate is.
Wow. Not the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's 4.5 dustins long.
Yeah.
Don't fact check that.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. Like, okay, we didn't actually talk about this a whole lot. So why does he say the gate versus the road? Like the gate. So he has the gate and then the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think of that, the way being the road and the gate is like the entry point.
Yeah, he's talking about entry points.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gate is wide and the way is easy. Enter by the narrow gate. So geographically, they're up in an elevated spot, but if it's where people think they were, they can see Capernaum from where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they have a vantage point to see one of the gates in Capernaum. Maybe there's a fence that the farmers put up and it's got a gate right there.
It seems like, to me, like the thing that makes most sense is that we're talking about a gate that admits entrance into a city that's at the end of a road.
Yeah.
So he just lists them in the opposite order.
Right.
And it would look dorky to have a narrow road that finishes in a wide gate. Right. That's mismatched.
That would look dorky.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And how much, so he doesn't tie in, and one of the things we've been really talking about over the last few weeks is don't bring something from another verse that means something there into here. And yet it's hard for us on this side of history to read enter by the narrow gate and not also hear, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Yeah.
No one comes to the Father but by me. So we would say that Jesus is that gate that gives us entrance.
Right.
But, and I mean, he meant it. He meant the same thing here, but that wasn't the point of this.
Right.
These couple verses.
Yeah.
He's
Or were they?
Ooh.
How narrow is that gate? I think it's probably about 5'6".
I'm not even that tall. Can we keep it a 5'4" so then it's a Stephanie?
You think Jesus was your height?
That's
Jesus being my height?
Yeah.
No. I thought we were just talking about the gate entrance. Never mind.
So as we're talking like just the structure of this passage, or this part in particular, enter by the narrow gate is the imperative or the command. So he's giving them command, which is enter by the narrow gate. And then he gives two descriptions that would say like of two different ways. So you've got the wide versus the narrow. And you can see as if you just like lay them side by side, which is what I did in my Word document, you see the contrast through this. So there's for the gate, you have wide versus narrow, easy versus hard, destruction versus life, and then many versus few. And we've talked about this some, but like in a lot of wisdom literature, you have this kind of two ways framing,
Right.
of that there's a way that is wise and a way that is foolish. You have a way that leads to life, a way that leads to destruction. And this is like common to them. This would not have been a new way of thinking. This is a way that they, this was like the common pattern for wisdom literature.
Not a lot of grays in the wisdom literature.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a pretty good way to think about that? That it is. You're making choices.
Right. Yeah. And in a lot of wisdom literature, you have like, it's kind of a little bit simple in the way it describes it. As far as like, it's giving kind of, I think you call them truisms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, hey, in general, this is true. This, whenever you do good things, life works out better. When you
Right.
do bad things, life works out more poorly. But then like you hit Ecclesiastes as wisdom literature, and you can just see that like that whole framework is blown up. He's like, nope, I see all kinds of good people who are getting bad stuff and all kinds of bad people who are getting good stuff. It's like, doesn't work that way. And so Ecclesiastes kind of expresses the frustration whenever life doesn't work out according to that two ways philosophy. And then Job, as the third of the Old Testament wisdom literature books, like has the perspective of a wise God follower who can say, you know what, terrible stuff happened to me. It wasn't because I did bad things, and God's still good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that's good.
But all that just so I was just gonna say like if Ecclesiastes in general is like introducing some complexity into this, we do not need to introduce complexity into this metaphor that Jesus is describing. So it's not that like, oh, there's wide paths and like less wide paths and medium paths and then narrow and then super narrow paths.
Right.
So we should not introduce complexity into that. Jesus literally is setting up there are
There's a
two
dichotomy.
ways.
Yeah.
There's following him and not following him.
Right. I think we had a really good discussion about this yesterday with the wide and narrow, how we can choose the wider path because it's an easier path. So like imagine like the road being or the path being completely mowed down and easy. And then where the narrow path tends to be tighter. And like I imagine like sticks and not bricks, but like sticks poking your legs and leaves and brushel. Is that what it's called? Brushel?
Nope.
Nope.
There might be something called brushel.
No, the brush, not there's just brush.
Yeah.
I'm tired, guys. You can,
There's a bushel.
Hide it under a brushel. No, I will not keep that brushel away from me.
I feel like I'm done talking.
No.
I need some coffee.
Yeah. You need to pause so you can go get some coffee. Kickstart.
For the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so that the way is hard, that works perfectly for what you were saying. Perfectly. Because when your brushel is too close to the rocks on both sides, it gets pressed in. So the way is hard, that idea that you're being pressed in, pressed against. Like if you've been to Giant City Park and gone through
Fat Man Squeeze.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. And so I thought it was interesting, like as you look at wide and easy, I assume that they mean two like unique, distinct things, but there's a lot of overlap between their semantic range, like what they mean. The wide and easy, and the same thing with narrow and hard. So it's not so much saying like two totally different things. The gate or the way is easy because it's wide, and the other way is hard because it's narrow. Yeah.
It takes a little more effort to get through a pass like that, where you have to breathe in to even get past the way, versus this, a path that's designed for a wheelchair to go by it. Giant City also has one of those. That's a handicap accessible path. That's one of my favorites because it's paved. It still has a great view, but that's an easy path.
Yeah.
Versus the one that's up and you're hiking for a mile and a half.
Mm-hmm. And this destruction, Jay, you brought out that like there's some nuance to this where like it's in other places it's used to mean like even wasted.
Yeah.
So it's like broken.
Matthew 26. It's used. It's wasted is used for this same word in the story where the woman takes the alabaster vial of the very costly perfume and anoints Jesus' head, and the disciples were upset that she wasted it instead of selling it and being able to feed and clothe the hungry. So and had a little conversation about, well, was it wasted because the vial was destroyed, and that's where the word is, and it really does seem to be this idea of that destruction is waste, like a wasteland that we see after like a nuclear blast or something.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's not good for anything.
Yeah. It's not just that lightly soured milk. It's that milk that's been in there.
Okay. I mean,
milk stew,
I suppose. That's disgusting. And so whenever we put all this together, we have a picture of the one path that has, like it's wide, and because of that, it's easy to travel. We talked about like interstates. I mean, that's why you can drive, super fast on the interstate without being worried that somebody's. Versus a country road. That whenever you come around a corner, I'm always like trying to like see around the corner and see if I could see anything, because if we're in the same, if there's another vehicle, I need to be really careful because they're kind of in the same space. And then on the wide path, there's a lot of people there. And so like whenever we start taking this into a little bit of interpretation of what Jesus means, then we see that there's a path, the path of least resistance that has the most people on it is the path that leads to like utter waste and destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Versus the path that's more difficult, that's trying, that's narrow, that has fewer people on it is the one that leads to life. Which I think even in that simple explanation, I think is important for us to hear, because I talked a little bit yesterday about how like one of the first things I do whenever I'm thinking about getting a product is going on Amazon and checking out product reviews. And I want to see how many people have reviewed it and how many stars did it get? Because the crowds can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And he's saying here, like if we took that same approach to life, we would be on the wrong path. If we're looking at consensus and like what do the majority of people think? What do my friends all say about this? And then we're in dangerous territory.
Yeah. Anything else for that section? I tell you, just want to knock out the rest of it. 24 to 29.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's bring it home. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. And when Jesus finished these sayings, the crowds were astonished at his teaching, for he was teaching them as one who had authority and not as their scribes.
Mm-hmm.
What you got?
Stephanie's pointing at me.
Yeah, she's been doing that a lot. Talk.
Okay, so again, we've got a figure of speech, a metaphor here, an image that Jesus is really using to like paint a picture of something that they're familiar with, and then tie it to a spiritual reality. That reality has to, or the image that he's using is this idea of people like building on foundations and whether it's solid or not. Mm-hmm. And it's just assumed in both of these. So anytime we see a comparison like this, we should ask like, what's different? So what's the same is, what's the same about the situation is that both of them built a house.
Yeah.
Both of them experienced rain and floods and wind that beat on that house. But one of them was built on the rock, and one of them was built on sand. The one that was built on the rock stood through the storm, and the one that did not was demolished by the storm. And so then we look and see like the spiritual reality he's connecting it to is in the first part, it's that they heard the words and they did them. They heard his words and they did them. In the second part, they just heard his words, which I think is just really, I think it's really cool, or really interesting, I should say, because all these people are sitting under Jesus teaching. They're around Jesus. They're seeing the things that he does. They're not, I mean, presumably like following him around in crowds. But that same crowd that's like following him around and they're fans of Jesus, could be the ones who are hearing his words and not doing them and are building their lives on sand. And then they will experience destruction versus the people who not only hear his words, but they do them. So,
I went a little too deep on architecture around the time. Then houses in Capernaum were usually built on foundations of the local basalt, hard, black, volcanic rock. And they weren't dressed, no mortar, so they were placed down and the houses were built on them. And then I found a really cool hypothesis about the sand. Foolish man who built his house on the sand. So there was this German traveler who visited a site that they think might have been where Bethsaida was, about 6 or so miles from Capernaum. So really well known to everybody that would have been listening to Jesus. So there were two occupied places in that area. And in between them, there was just a stretch of what's called alluvial sand. So this alluvial sand, say it with me.
Alluvial sand.
So this sand that when it's hot and when it's dry, it gets hard as a rock. And people would build houses on that thinking this is solid.
Right.
And yet when it would rain, when the storms would come and the floods rise and the winds beat against that sand, when you're at a beach, the sand just washes right away, even just standing still. It's one of the neatest things, standing on a beach, and yet the sand starts.
I love that feeling.
It's great. It's taken, and you're like, whoa, you're there too long, and you lose your seat. You lose your footing. And then you get on your seat.
Yeah.
Because you've lost your footing. But that idea of right next to the guy. So there's one guy who could have built his house on that just rock hard sand in the summer when it was a drought season. And yet right next to him was somebody who dug down to the bedrock underneath and built his house on that. And neighbors built the same house. The same guys could have helped.
Experience the same storm.
Same storm comes through, and one of their houses is destroyed, and the other one is just fine because he did the work of building his house, digging down, finding the foundation.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
It
I think
is
it's
really
fascinating.
cool. Yeah.
I've really enjoyed. So I think maybe my favorite part of being part of the exegesis meetings has been that part of finding where the words Jesus said, the words Paul and the gang wrote, how they were tied into the real world back then as they wrote it. That's been some of my favorite parts about this.
Yeah, I wonder if that's that seems like a very like historically oriented view of it, like seeing how it meshed with history at that point. Or I think you like to go in on the history and culture.
I do, and I think maybe it's part of that old. Totally lost the word for defending the faith about
apologetics.
Yeah, it's part of an apologetic. I think that the Bible's not a textbook, but it's not a history book, but it was a book written in history,
right?
And my tendency is to just make it separate from the context in which it was written. And so finding the rich and it could have been this,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean it was this. But the idea that these people who heard the words could have known guys who, I know a guy who made the mistake of not digging down to the bedrock,
Yeah.
and how they were real things. Like Jesus rarely taught in hypotheticals. He taught parables, of course, but rarely hypotheticals. He was grounded. Last week we talked about, was it last week or 2 weeks ago now, that we talked about beams and specks in eyes, and 2 weeks ago now. And here, Jesus the carpenter, I think you might have pulled that up, that Jesus the carpenter was talking about wood stuff, that stuff he knew. I just really enjoy being introduced and reintroduced to that stuff.
It's funny, like one of the things that we talked about in one of my seminary classes was like whenever we're evaluating an interpretation, you run it through a bunch of different like checkpoints. And so like the historical setting and the cultural, like which interpretation fits best with the history and culture is a couple of those checkpoints.
Oh, cool.
Then you also have like the immediate context and author's context, and then like the syntax, like just what makes the most sense of the grammatical structure, which I think is like my favorite part.
Syntax is the grammatical structure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's fun.
Yeah, I just love how he continues, like you were saying, to pull out illustrations that they would have been able to grasp and understand. So at the time, they would have had like horrible rain seasons and floods and the wind blowing and beating on houses and seeing houses actually get destroyed, like you were saying with the sand at the time. And then so I just love the illustration here that he is giving, because on the outside, it looks the same as the other house, but the foundation is the unsturdy part. And so even if we go back to a tree and its fruit, like it may be looking healthy, but if it's not producing the fruit, then it's unhealthy. So just how he continues to give illustrations to grab their attention, like, are you paying attention yet? Like, I'm trying to tell you guys something because this is the end of this discourse. Like he's getting ready to end it and it's going to be done. And so all of this has been used to make them into kingdom-like people. And so the rock is him. And so they're to be founded on him. So just good.
The gate and the rock.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because like there's several of these kinds of figures of speech or metaphors that I would have assumed like Jesus was presenting an absurdity. Like no idiot's building their house on sand.
Yeah.
Right. So I would have understood it like everybody builds it on rock, nobody builds it on sand. But I think it's really interesting to explore like, no,
What
maybe he's talking about something that would have appeared solid at the time, but like has some liabilities attached to it, but you weren't willing to do the hard work to dig down.
And if it's that relates to so many things in our lives.
Oh, yeah.
That we just did not. We knew this was a shaky thing to do, and because we didn't build it on Jesus.
Yeah. It's like there was another one of those kinds of things. It's like, I think it's one of the Proverbs that talks about better to live on the corner of a roof than have a nagging wife.
Yeah.
And
Why you got to bring that one up?
well, it's
I
because-
mean, there's a lot of things you could have brought up, and you,
know,
bring up the nagging
there are-
wife
And
one.
he looked right at you.
Reasons.
Right.
I don't understand.
I thought it would be more suspicious if I didn't. If I
Just look
avoided eye
straight into
contact.
Jay's eyes when you say nagging wife.
Because I've got tile marks on my face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But no, I always assume that Jesus is talking about something like absolutely ridiculous, like live on the corner of my roof, not recognizing that they actually had like their roofs were flat.
Yeah.
I just said roofs.
Your roofs. I like it.
It's fine.
It's like
I said brushel
hooves.
earlier whenever I was trying to say brush.
Roofs.
Roofs.
I like roofs.
Roofs.
It's like hooves.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Roofs.
Anyway,
Hooves.
they're
Hooves. Nope. It's fine.
their roofs were flat on top, and like they could go up there in the evening, and so it's the equivalent of saying like better to sleep on the couch than to have a nagging wife. It wasn't like something totally absurd. It was something that like they actually could do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now I have had couch cushion marks on my face in the mornings,
Yeah.
but never roof tiles.
Yeah.
or roof tiles.
Anyway, so again, this boils down to like the difference in the spiritual reality side of this between being wise and foolish is whether you do the things that you hear Jesus say.
Mm.
And I think that's like a real cautionary word for us who encounter like the Word of God more easily than any generations before us. Like we've got it on our smartphones and stuff. Like we encounter the word of Jesus all the time. We hear them.
And you can get it for free.
Yeah.
Like that alone blows my mind.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, no, I think that's great. And so, but just having access to those words, just hearing those words, just encountering them without obeying them doesn't make us wise. It doesn't build our house on the foundation. Like there's an obedience factor to it. So anyway, I just think that's important.
That's really good. And it is. And I think Stephanie brought it up earlier, but it's good to reiterate. Verse 25 is the same wording in the first part as verse 27. Rain fell, floods came, winds blew and beat on that house. That both houses that are built on the foundations of rock and the foundation of sand, both of them are going to face storm, flood, wind.
Yeah. We talk some about like whether that should be understood as like the normal stuff of life, like the normal trials, tribulations, stuff that we go through, struggles, versus like Judgment Day. Did you guys have any thoughts on that?
I think I said yesterday, like it's both. Like both can be the same.
All the above?
Yeah. I would say yes.
Yes, I think that makes sense.
Like it can definitely pertain to our daily lives and it can pertain to and the final judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm an all of the above guy, I think too.
Cool.
I don't see any reason why you'd need to
Parse.
differentiate
Oh,
it.
I was waiting for you to just be like, and here's why not.
No.
My professor of hermeneutics.
Do I do that? I do that, don't I? I'm sorry.
It's fine. I think I baited you like last week or something like that. It's fine.
We've only done that like 12, 13 times.
Yeah.
How many episodes have we had?
Since you've been starting seminary? Yeah. But it's always informational and gracious.
Yes.
When you say, you guys are totally wrong on this.
He says it with such love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have.
No, you
I'd
wouldn't.
come down with a hammer.
Right.
Actually.
You're dumb, and this is why.
Well, I mean, not just you.
No.
Everybody who thinks this is dumb.
Right. No, I was talking about the general you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The royal you. Now he's going to be up in his head.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine. You're doing great, Nathan.
But yes, all of the above.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And again, I think like it's interesting. Jesus with this metaphor, he's not trying to turn it into allegory.
I
keep forgetting that word.
You did yesterday too.
So it's not like that everything has a meaning, but for them, storms were a major issue. Like living beside seas everywhere, and like it was a major destructive force in their world, more so than a lot of us who live inland. Go ahead.
Sorry, no, never mind that. Nope, it's fine. I was gonna say seas, like seas to them.
Yeah.
At that time was actually scary and dangerous.
Totally.
And they didn't like to travel on it. But that has nothing to do with
No, it does kind of.
the rain, flood.
I think it does.
I mean,
If you look
I
throughout...
think you're being uber gracious because you think that we think you've been mean about the seminary.
Wow. No. I'm just like, in general, like for us, we think of like, we think about seas or whatever, it's like, I think of a calm beach vacation or whatever. Like, oh, I love the ocean. And for them, it was like a source of like lots of uncertainty and chaos. And like, I don't know if I set sail, if I'm coming back or not.
Right.
So I think the rains and floods, I think.
So even in first century Israel, they would still have that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't know that? You didn't, I mean, not that you didn't know that.
Wow.
She hasn't even been to seminary.
I haven't.
Just wanted to, because in a lot of the poetry of even further back, there is that that juxtaposition of the seas and chaos and danger, and I didn't know if that had stretched into the first century.
Yeah, I think that's largely like whenever we see some of the stuff of like Peter being invited to walk on the water and like Jesus calming storms and stuff, it was like demonstrating that over the most chaotic force of nature that they regularly encountered, like the sea that they had to traverse, that they had to go across, but like it was unpredictable and could bring absolute destruction to them.
And Jesus takes naps at them.
Yeah. So
That's good.
I think the rain and floods and winds associated with that storm, I think, are similar.
And again, this audience who more than likely lives on
Right.
the Sea of Galilee.
Yeah. So anyway,
Can you sing the song? No.
which one?
The Firm Foundation.
Living on the Sea of
No.
Galilee.
Every time I hear these verses, I think of Firm Foundation.
Then you should sing it.
I can't sing it. It's you two who do the singing.
I really don't think we can do copywritten things.
We're pushing it with Subway.
Eat fresh.
Jared.
Oh.
What do we have about 28 and 29?
Oh, we learned yesterday that I'm not good at making astonished faces.
Yes. I hope you wrote that in your notes.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were astonished, and we had a fun talk about just the idea of what that was, what that meant, being astonished, because some people thought it was this almost like a fright. There was a weight there that some think could be, they were even intimidated, frightened by this thing.
Yeah, it's a word that can go either way. Like some places it would seem to, by the context, would be tilted toward like, that's super cool, Jesus. And other places it seems like, that's really freaky, Jesus.
Yeah.
And either way, it's like kind of a neutral word. It's just like astounded.
Yeah. And we'll definitely...
Well, I guess that's probably the same.
Yeah. We'll definitely get to the freaky thing later, because when Jesus says, my body, this is, take and eat, and
You're like, whoa.
hey, ooh. And many would leave him, and he'll say to the disciples, "You're going to leave me too?" And they're like, well, where else can we go? Yeah. People don't leave just because they were amazed happily. It was like some folks are troubled by these words and left. And so, there is that meaning that could be both.
Yeah. So either way, here they're just like, and we mentioned it had some ties to like being unable to speak, kind of like a dumbfounded.
Yeah.
The crowds are just like, don't even know what to say at his teaching because he has authority.
Yeah. When Thanos snapped and the crowd just, what? There was stillness.
Who?
What just happened here?
If you have not seen it yet,
the Mad Titan, Thanos,
Infinity War and Endgame, Avengers movies. No.
Iron Man.
Hey.
You've seen that one. Okay. He dies.
What?
And I was astonished.
Yeah, I was astonished too. And honestly have not been very interested to see Marvel movies since. I don't know. It's just like with
Are you going to leave me too?
With Thanos' snap,
Okay. Reel it back in.
I just
That's
felt
what
like my childhood disappeared with it.
Yeah.
29,
And
guys.
the
Verse
same
29.
thing. The same thing. It's that same feeling. Tony snaps, and the hush falls over the crowd, and there is this astonishment. Are you telling me the guy who started this thing is now gone? Yeah. Now multiply that by 7.3.
Yep. That's the multiplier here. And 29, Stephanie. What you got?
A Dustin and a half. No, nothing. You wanted to get back to
you
it,
said
but
you
then
wanted to
didn't
hit
have-
29.
No, because we're almost
You just-
done.
Okay. He was teaching them as one who had authority and not as their scribes. So it's like they have scribes who are regularly explaining to them, like they regularly reading pieces of the law of the Old Testament, law and prophets, and they are explaining what they mean. And Jesus is not just doing that, but he is like peeling it back to reveal the heart of the Father that's behind all of this law in such a way that it's like, it is kind of freaky to them, I would say, because it's like, can he do that? Can he tell us that this is what the scriptures actually mean and that they point to him? And he's speaking with authority. And again, like, you know, whenever we think about like the inspiration of scripture, like Jesus is speaking the very word of God.
Yeah.
It carries the power of the word of God, not just teaching from the word of God, which is very good and it's important. But it's not like inspired in the same way that scripture is, which is what Jesus was speaking. So can you imagine like being there and hearing the words for the first time as they are that God breathed, as they're coming out of Jesus' mouth? They are like the words of scripture that are falling on your eardrums.
And to think like, man, there had to be like something different with the way he was just teaching. Like, I know we've been talking about that the whole time, how he continues to point to the heart of the issues. But to hear him talk, I don't know. I just imagine like his presence was different. And that's just me putting on my own thing. But he's speaking with divine authority. And he's encompassing this role as lawgiver and expounder and judge. So like the scribes' teachings were considered like feeble compared to his. And so,
That's good.
Yeah,
I don't think that's just putting your own thing on it. I think we could say that like both the things that he was teaching and the way he was teaching them, like the authority with which he was teaching.
Like he's not just saying like words that they would be used to hearing.
There's conviction and power behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think it was that was the astonishing thing?
All of it.
All the above?
He was teaching as one who had authority. So like, not just like, hey, here's what I think this means or whatever, but like giving the law.
So deliverance wise, the difference is a scribe is Isaiah said.
Interpreting someone else's words versus I'm giving you the word.
Yeah. You have heard it said, and now I tell you.
Yeah.
Big part of that.
Nobody else had authority to do that.
Yeah. Man, just as we were talking, and I didn't, so Luke 2:47, when Jesus is 12 and at 12, he's teaching in the temple, and the people there were amazed at his understanding, but there it's existanto, to put out of wits, to become astounded.
Okay. So very similar, not the same word, but similar,
Yeah. So he didn't quite teach with the same authority as he is now here at the end of the Sermon on the Mount.
Jay, I think you said it yesterday, but after he finishes this sermon, he goes right down off the mountain and he goes and starts his healing ministry.
Yeah. Yeah. Walked down the mountain and there's a guy that said, if you would, you can heal me. And Jesus said, I will. Yeah, that was good. So what's the word here for astonished? Is it exaplagian? Exaplagisan? Nope. Exaplagisan? Exaplagisan?
Ekpleso?
Is it 1605?
Ekpleso. Amaze, astound.
Yeah, 1605.
1605. Ooh, so Luke 2:48, when his parents saw him, so 12-year-old Jesus, when his parents saw him, they were astonished.
Yeah.
So his parents, who knew who he was, saw him doing this, and they were the same astonished as those folks were. But again, that's Luke, Matthew, maybe.
No, it's still good. I mean, so that word occurs 13 times in the Bible, and it's always referring to, it's almost always referring to Jesus. There's once in Acts that it's referring to Barnabas teaching.
Yeah. That Barnabas.
No, Saul, who is also called Paul. Yep, it was.
That's Saul.
Yep.
He had some power as well.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you guys excited about hearing?
I think the invitation, it's it's so simple, but so difficult and profound to say that like the invitation that Jesus wraps up with is like everything I've just been talking with you about, all of the range of like what it means to like actually take the plank out of your eye so you can help someone else, and to not look with lust, and to like not become angry, and all these kingdom living principles. It does you no good just to hear it. So take it and put it into action. Like I think for us to not just walk away and say, man, that really was a good sermon. Jesus' Sermon on the Mount says a lot of cool things.
Right.
I think more people should listen to that sermon. It's like, it's not the hearers who are blessed. It's not the hearers who find life. If you're just hearing, you're actually still on the path to destruction. But the invitation to like be this kind of people,
Commit.
to obey
So,
it.
Yeah. So Jesus has spent this time on the mount,
Sitting
talking.
down.
His disciples had come to him, and the crowds surrounding him. And so, is this the part where he's inviting people from the outskirts of the crowd to come in closer, to enter into more relationship? To get out of the outskirts and come in.
I think I'm excited because I don't know, like I just see here, and you guys can say the things, but this is what he's calling them to do is not easy work, right? Like he's telling them to take the narrow path, which is a harder thing. Like you were saying, Jay, with building the foundation, that took more work for them to dig a little deeper to get their roots, like to get their foundation really strong. And so I hope this message becomes encouraging to people that the hard is worth it.
Yeah.
Like going the more complicated, the harder path, the firmer foundation, like it's going to be worth it.
Because it leads to life.
Yeah. Yeah. Where we can totally choose the easier path of like, man, I just want to build my house on this because I don't have to dig deeper or anything like that. This is strong enough. This will get me by.
Yeah.
I want to walk down that easy path because it's wide. I don't have to worry about things scratching up my legs or bump, like I don't have to worry about bumping shoulders with people, and I can do what I want. And that's not what he's calling here. He's calling them to hear his words and to take action. And so I just think that's really good.
Yeah. Man, ditto.
Yeah. I also think like, I always think about this, like our value that like Jesus is always the hero. So like, this isn't just an invitation to like buckle down and do the hard work of obedience. But like part of that invitation is to come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And so like obedience, first and foremost, is placing our faith in Jesus. And he's the one who has perfectly walked this Sermon on the Mount out, that he's the one who has perfectly done this, that he's the one who perfectly stays on the narrow path and never, like, always resists the urge to hop over into the wide, easy path. And so also just to experience, for our people to experience some freedom, it's like life's about obeying Jesus. And that starts with putting our faith in him, that our justification is through him alone, not our ability to keep it.
Man, that works.
And sometimes obedience looks really hard.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did we do it? I think we did it. Guys, thanks so much. Always a pleasure to have you. Any questions, comments, concerns? Email us, warehouse@cornerstone.team. And until next time, the warehouse is closed.
Bye.